Continues to be held by Emerson Fittipaldi, with Bobby Rahal running in second position, then Roberto Moreno, followed by Michael Andretti, Roberto Guerrero, and Al Unser Jr. There's the leader, Emerson Fittipaldi, in the number 20 Marlboro-sponsored car.
And Kevin Kogan, Bob, has moved up into that top 5. He has worked his way in. He's been running pretty consistently. We told you that he is in a backup car. The car will be painted exactly like Emerson Fittipaldi's car. We are trained on the leader, Emerson Fittipaldi, right here. To complicate matters, both Emo and Kevin have helmets that are basically metallic blue, although on Emo's hat there's a great deal of that metallic or international or rocket red, international orange, rocket red color, whatever your druthers are. And that is he working his way through slower traffic right now. There goes Rahal going by, and that's Rick Muskiewicz, whom they just put a lap on.
As a matter of fact, the leader is working through quite a bit of traffic. He has passed that blue number 24 car that's being driven by Dominic Dobson. And now Emerson Fittipaldi goes to the inside to pass Randy Lewis. And the next car that he will attempt to pass, and does so just going into turn number 3, is Johnny Rutherford in car number 21, who qualified miserably for this race in 22nd position. Into the pits is Raul Boisel.
Bob, a lot of the leaders are coming in. Roberto Moreno has come in. We're assuming it's routine. We are up to, what are we at there? Lap number 23, so that is inside that window. Moreno is out already, seemingly in pretty good fashion. Boisel is still in the pit area. They're still doing work on Jeff Brabham's car, and Raul's stop is turning out to be much longer than would keep him in real good competition.
So Roberto Moreno, who had run third since the drop of the green flag, relinquishes that position by coming in for a pit stop, and that will put Michael Andretti, there he is in the blue and orange or yellow car, into third place. Watching some of the back markers here, Randy Lewis and Dominic Dobson and Rick Muskiewicz in car number 16. Those three drivers started toward the rear of the field and are being lapped by the faster cars.
Rick Muskiewicz, of course, was successful in the Can-Am. He was the Can-Am champion of 1985, so in an indirect sort of way, it's almost like coming home for him to conduct a race in Canada. After all, that is actually the Canadian-American Series, a series of open cockpit race cars with fenders on that are pretty close to Indianapolis cars. It's one of the series that's elevated across the North American continent to the point where it's about as close as you can get to single-seater open-wheel Indy cars or Formula One cars.
We're watching Bobby Rahal running in second position, but the interval now between first and second position has opened up to about 3 seconds or so. Rahal in second spot. Here comes the third place car, and he kind of dirt tracks it, so to speak, coming off that corner. The rear end around just a little bit on Michael Andretti. He's running in third position. Got that after Roberto Moreno went in for a pit stop. And now running in fourth spot is Kevin Kogan, and here he comes right behind Michael. Kevin has moved up into fourth position after starting this race in eighth.
And he is climbing rapidly, sort of like his weekend. Kevin has been up and down like a yo-yo all weekend. Friday afternoon practice, the first session he was only 19th best. Then in the afternoon practice, as he moved up to the backup car, he was second. Then Friday morning they came out. There's Kevin getting very close to Michael as they go into heavy traffic. Kevin moved back to ninth. Then Saturday qualifying up to 3, and then Saturday morning up to third, and then qualifying back down to 8th. So it seemed like his best times were coming in practice, not in qualifying, but he's been up and down all weekend long, and he's really getting with the program now.
Kevin made a nice move there to the inside of Rick Muskiewicz in turn number 3. Now Andretti and Randy Lewis go in the corner side by side, and Andretti slows down to the point where Kevin almost runs into the rear wing of the Andretti machine. Now they begin to string out just a little bit as they get back on the accelerator. But Michael Andretti having a few problems here getting around that slower car.
Yeah, that's Randy Lewis, and finally he moves over and lets Michael go by, but there were 2 or 3 moments there where one of those situations on a street course, you can't always pass the exact time when you want to. It's got to be a combination of time and place. There's little Al who's running in 5th right now. It's always got to be a combination of time and places for a pass, but really on a street course, the place really takes precedence.
Al Unser Jr. has moved up into 5th position now as Roberto Guerrero falls back to 6th. 7th is Danny Sullivan. In 8th place is Mario Andretti. 9th is Ari Leyendijk. And in 10th position is Raul Boisel. There's Kevin Kogan running 4th.
We mentioned about how the division has really shown how equal it is because of some of the people who had their best and their worst qualifying times of this week. Beyond a shadow of a doubt, the worst qualifying times of the year were turned in by the individuals Al Unser Jr., Michael Andretti, and Danny Sullivan, if you can call fifth, which it was, a tie for Danny's worst of the year. But on the converse of that, the best qualifying times of the year, the best qualifying positions, were turned in by Ray Hall at second, Tom Sneva at 12th, Kevin Kogan 8th on a road course this is, not on an oval, on a road course, Jacques Villeneuve at 7th, and Roberto Moreno 4th. So many things changed this weekend, and people who had been struggling the early part of this year caught on this week, and some of those who had been running up front got caught.
Watching Michael Andretti and Kevin Kogan running third and fourth. Kogan's most recent IndyCar venture at Cleveland forced him to drop out of the race with an electrical problem, leaving him in 23rd finishing position, and things started off badly for him this weekend in his regular car, so he moved to the Fittipaldi backup machine and has qualified it and is racing it. Now those two are right behind Johnny Rutherford, and there is now the driver who is in fifth position, and that is Al Unser Jr., who started 10th, has moved up to fifth. So a nice job for the Domino's Pizza-sponsored Lola, Al Unser Jr.
Talk about thrashing. These guys have been going at it all weekend. Of course, everybody has, but it seems like a few teams always encounter just a little more obstacles, and this was one of those teams this week. They got to the point where little Al was so frustrated, he said, I don't know. We have done everything. We have tried everything. We have changed everything. And it just is not getting any better. At least it's not getting up to the potential where we think the Domino's Pizza car should be. But it looks like it's a little better in the race than it's been in practice and qualifying. And maybe all those skull sessions and all those meetings over dinner, breakfast, and lunch, and all those confabs between practice and qualifying sessions beginning to bear some fruit.
And not too far behind Al Unser Jr. in sixth position is Roberto Guerrero, who started this race in sixth spot and is running there at the moment. Well, we haven't seen many of the leaders pit so far. Mario Andretti did come in for a pit stop a few minutes ago, but as far as Fittipaldi, Ray Hall, and the others up front, no pit stops yet, but we expect them in just a few laps. We'll be right back with more from Toronto. Back at Exhibition Place in Toronto, Canada, where we're presenting live the Molson Indy on this Sunday afternoon. The first time the Indy cars have visited this province since back in 1978 when they were at Mosport Park, which is to the northeast of Toronto. And in that race, by the way, Danny Ungaius was the winner. Here this afternoon, Emerson Fittipaldi jumped into the lead at the drop of the green flag, has held it since. In second position is Bobby Rahal. Third is Michael Andretti. Fourth is Kevin Kogan. Fifth, Al Unser Jr. Sixth position is Roberto Guerrero. In seventh is Danny Sullivan. Eighth is Mario Andretti. Ninth is Ari Leyendijk. And 10th is Raul Boisel. 11th, unofficially, is Roberto Moreno, who has made a pit stop. And then Tom Sneva is running in 12th position.
Bob, everybody up front has different strategy about the pit stops, so we're anticipating a stop by Danny Sullivan. The crew is scurrying around in front of us. Our position is right above the start-finish line. Al Unser Jr.'s crew is now gone over the wall. There's Al out on the racetrack. The crew is out over the wall. Tom Sneva's crew directly in front of Little Al's crew.
Okay.
They are also out.
We have a yellow, a full course yellow, apparently. And why, we're not sure, but this is going to cause a rash of pit stops. Everybody can pit under yellow and not lose any positions. Here they are. Emerson Fittipaldi is in. So is Al Unser Jr. Here comes Danny Sullivan. All the leaders we anticipate to stop because of this full course yellow that has been displayed over this circuit. There is Kevin Kogan, whose crew goes to work on his car. Michael Andretti has apparently not pitted, and several others have not, but Emerson Fittipaldi and Al Unser Jr. have. Both of them service completed. They're back out on the racetrack. Danny Sullivan gets service completed. He's back out there. And now we wait to see who else might be coming in for a stop.
There is the Provimi Veal team. Ari Leyendijk coming to a stop as his crew, with Ott Groneveld, of course, the car owner of this machine, rolls into the pits for routine service.
Fittipaldi is in. His teammate Kevin Kogan made a stop just a lap ago. Here's the leader, though, Emerson Fittipaldi, who's getting service on his car. They're changing rubber on the left side of the machine and filling it up with fuel. Jack Arute is watching all of this pit activity from pit road.